let's study about pollination in this video. Pollination is the act of transferring pollen grains from the male anther of the flower to the female stigma. The goal of every living organism, including plants, is to create offspring for the next generation. One of the ways that plants can produce offspring is by making seeds. Seeds contain the genetic information to produce a new plant. Flowers are the tools that plants use to make their seed. The basic parts of the flowers are shown in the diagram. Stamen is the male part which contains anther and filament. Pistil is the female part which has stigma, style and ovary. The other parts of the flower are petals, sepals and peduncule are also called as stem. Seeds can only be produced when pollen is transferred between flowers of the same species. A species is defined as a population of individuals capable of interbeing freely with one another, but because of geographical, reproductive or other barriers, they do not interbreed with members of other species. How does pollen get from one flower to another? Flowers must rely on vectors to move pollen. These vectors can include wind, water, birds, insects, butterflies, bats and other animals that visit flowers. We call animals or insects that transfer pollen from plant to plant pollinators. Pollination is usually the unintended consequence of an animal's activity on the flower. The pollinator is often eating or collecting pollen for its protein and other nutritional characteristics, or it is sipping nectar from the flower when pollen grain attach themselves to the animal's body. When the animal visits another flower for the same reason, pollen can fall onto the flower stigma and may result in successful reproduction of the flower. Referring to the animated image, pollen from anther of the flower 1 is deposited on the stigma of flower 2. Once on the stigma, pollen may germinate, which means that the pollen tube forms a sticky surface of the stigma and goes down into the ovule of the plant. This growth can result in successful fertilization of the flower and the growth of the seeds and fruits, or a plant can only partially fertilized, in which the fruit and or seeds do not fully develop, or the plant can completely fail to be pollinated and may not produce at all. Plants can be self-pollinating. The plant can fertilize itself or cross-pollinating. The plants need a vector, a pollinator or the wind to get the pollen to another flower of the same species.